What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here along with Quaman from Quaman's Land. And today we're going to be discussing these pictures that you see scrolling on the screen from the upcoming Dragon Ball Z Fukkatsu movie that's coming out pretty damn soon. It's March already, and this is coming out in April in Japan. Hopefully we get to see it a lot sooner than later. But today we're going to be discussing these pictures specifically in order that they're playing, even though on mine you've already probably seen like 5 of them already because they're just going to be looping over and over again. But Quaman, why don't we start? How about the first picture? What do we see?
Well, before we get into the pictures, Rhymestyle, I have a little something to say.
Okay.
Alrighty, guys, it is Quaman here today. Anyways,
that's required.
In this first image, and by the way, guys, if you want to check out my analysis, I did it with James Krasneric. Rhymestyle will link it below. But anyways, in this background, I see Whis and Beerus looking as if they're either analyzing something or having a conversation with somebody as Beerus' mouth is open, and it looks like they're in outer space. So I personally felt when I was talking to James that this is actually maybe a scene where Goku and Vegeta were training and maybe an explosion happened somewhere and Beerus and Whis are actually talking to them in outer space.
That's a good one. I was gonna say no, actually I don't think that's what it is. I wouldn't say that's what it is because my theory is because remember Beerus wakes up while they're training and he gets angry because he senses something, which my theory is he senses Frieza waking up. So I think what this is this is probably like I don't know, actually it's really tough to tell. I don't want to throw anything out there just because it's little evidence, but it does look like they're in space and they're definitely serious about something. So I don't know. Let's go to the next one. What do we have for the next one?
Alright, so for the next one, it just looks like a generic picture of Goku. He looks relatively, I mean, he has a small little scratch on his cheek, so it may be like at the beginning of a combat. And based off of the sweat that he has in his head, he probably looks a little bit stressed out that a person with a really high power level, obviously Frieza, is now returned. So I feel like this is kind of like an encounter picture between Goku and Frieza.
Yes, I would say what this is this is post-training with Whis, and he just probably sensed him. That's what I would say. Because, I mean, the next picture, actually, I think this is right when Frieza probably landed with his army, which takes us to the next picture of Piccolo getting his shit kicked in by one of the Frieza soldiers.
Hey, watch your mouth, Rhymestyle. Watch your mouth. This is Piccolo we're talking about here.
Which is actually interesting because if a Frieza soldier, who usually has an average power level of about 2,000, is doing damage to Piccolo, that says something. Like, that says that this army of, 1,000 people that they brought with them are a lot stronger and more powerful than your average Frieza soldier.
Well, specifically here, Rhymestyle, if you look really carefully, this Frieza soldier in particular has a pretty unique appearance, so maybe he could potentially be a higher ranking officer. And look at his armor.
I would agree with that.
That little blue thing looks kind of similar to Frieza's final form body, so maybe this is a high ranking officer, and he looks kind of demonic, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. That actually has me excited now, because like when I first found out about this movie, I was kind of like, yeah, the Z Warriors fighting against Frieza soldiers, that doesn't seem interesting. But the fact that we're getting like guys that can keep up with Piccolo, or at least hurt him, that's kind of exciting. Now this next picture is probably the most exciting one, only because of the blue aura, that blue light. What does that look like?
Super Saiyan God.
Yes, because if you remember when Goku was Super Saiyan God, he had that exact same blue light that kind of like exploded around him before he transformed. Remember when Beerus threw the ball at him and he was like transform one last time to stop the attack? He had that blue light that kind of exploded around before he assumed the form. So maybe this is Vegeta achieving the form. Maybe.
I definitely think it could be. I mean, at least some type of transformation.
Yeah, or at least attempting it. At least attempting it. Yeah. Which to those who are watching, what do you guys think? Do you think this is Super Saiyan God Vegeta or something else? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, this next one we've already kind of seen many times before, but this is essentially when Frieza's spaceship lands, and we see all the soldiers pouring out, which is kind of funny because I know this Frieza spaceships are huge, but 1,000 soldiers all packed into one ship, how is that even possible?
It's so funny. James said the exact same thing. He was like, how could all those soldiers fit? But we maybe hypothesized that maybe some were in a separate ship or some actually flew from outer space, which I think is a little unlikely. But
highly unlikely, I'd say that. I mean, I think this is just Toriyama being Toriyama and not really, like, caring. Because, like, I mean, we've seen the spaceship lands and just pour soldiers out. So, I don't know. Not that interesting. The next picture we have, what is it, Sorbet?
Sorbet, yeah.
Sorbet. And he is summoning Captain Planet in this picture. That's my theory. So, Captain Planet confirmed for Dragon Ball Z Fukkatsu no F 2015. if Sobra had a power ring from Captain Planet, what kind of ring would he have? I'd say wind. Definitely wind.
I mean, looking at this image, Rhymestyle, going back to the one where we were talking about Piccolo, the one where that soldier was beating up Piccolo, James and I hypothesized that maybe they created some type of ring that gave a power boost to all of Frieza's henchmen, because I talked about in my how strong was Piccolo at the end of the series, which you're probably gonna link, that I thought that Piccolo was probably at least stronger than regular Perfect Cell by this point. So if that's henchman beating up Piccolo, he has to be really strong, and that's where I think this came from.
That's actually a really interesting theory. I like that. Now this next one is something that's going to get a lot of people excited because I mean, we all noticed when we first saw it, but we got Master Roshi back in action, and he's doing Kamehameha. How do you think he's going to fare against the Frieza soldiers fighting here? Because like, if they're on the same level as, well, some are on the same level as Piccolo, like, do you think he's even going to last long or what?
Well, I think maybe, honestly, I don't even think Master Roshi could beat any of the regular Frieza soldiers, but I think maybe if there are like really, really weak ones, maybe he can help out, or at least shoot some Kamehamehas and get lucky, or throw him off balance or something.
My theory is he's just gonna do something cool one time and then just leave. Like, all right, cool, I'm done. I did my help.
I think he's gonna be mostly for comic relief.
Yeah, I agree. Now this next picture is a shocker. We have Gohan on the ground, and I assume we got defeated by one of the Frieza soldiers.
Exactly, and if you look at this image, it looks like he was freshly thrown to the floor as we see the smoke coming up, and looking at the purple pants, it looks like Piccolo is definitely there to like assist him. And I made a comparison where we actually see future Gohan when he was dead on the ground looks very similar to this Gohan who seems apparently knocked out. So I think this is pretty scary considering how strong Gohan would have been compared to Frieza or many of the others.
Although I still think Gohan gets a lot weaker in the series, which kind of breaks my heart, but like, I mean, it's still, Gohan at this stage is still very powerful. No matter how much power he lost, even in mystic form, he's still pretty powerful. So it's like, these guys are these guys are no joke. Like they're here for some serious trouble. This next one we have Krillin, who's not dead yet. Looks like running away from some Frieza soldiers, and I think this shows that how overwhelmed the Z Warriors get. Because again, Frieza brings 1,000 soldiers with him. 1,000 versus what 7 Z Warriors? Like that's pretty. That's kind of an uneven number, even though they could be very, very powerful. I mean, the Z Warriors are very powerful. It's still like powerful Z Warriors versus 1,000 Frieza soldiers. Like that's kind of like difficult. Because like, for example, if you've been playing Xenoverse in the past week, to everybody watching, those horde missions are pretty tough because like even though they're pretty easy to kill, the soldiers left and right, still having so many attack you at once can like fatigue you over time. So like it's gonna be interesting to see how the Z Warriors actually survive in this movie while they're taking on so many soldiers at once, while obviously the big boys like Goku and Vegeta are probably taking on Frieza. What do you think, Kwame?
Well, I was actually thinking that in this scene here, since Krillin's being chased, I had one bold prediction, Rhymestyle, and that is I think Krillin gets one confirmed Destructo Disc kill in this movie. Do you agree?
Just one? I hope so.
We've never really seen Krillin get a seriously successful Destructo Disc on anything major, and they're minor villains, but I think Krillin could take at least one of them out with the Destructo Disc.
I'm mad because Krillin has one of the most powerful attacks in the series, and the one time when he finally actually did pull off an attack, it's like Cell just stood there and just took it.
And not to mention, Ram, so we forgot to say he's actually bald again, which is kind of interesting.
I'm glad they brought back bald Krillin. I did not like hairy Krillin, especially the Krillin that they had in Battle of Gods. He was a fuckboy. The Battle of Gods Krillin is an absolute fuckboy. So I'm glad that they're bringing the serious Krillin back. Officer Krillin, I'm sorry. Officer Krillin, yeah. This next picture, we have Frieza in its final form. And looks like this must have been like after the initial encounter with the Saiyans. And this is probably him like basically telling them, you know what? I have another form. I think that's what this is.
If you look at Frieza really carefully, though, Rhymestyle, you can tell that he's actually somewhat battle damaged, which shows that maybe he's not light years ahead of the Z Fighters initially until he probably goes into his next form.
Yeah, so what I think this is him probably fighting with Goku, and then he's like, you know what, check it out. You think you're winning, but this isn't even my final form. You got to throw out the infamous saying. But this next photo, we got Tien. This doesn't really say much to me. I mean, Tien, at least he's doing something in the movie.
new outfit too.
New outfit though, yeah. Now this next one is Tagoma, and this is gonna be kind of a spoiler. I'm pretty sure that, and people are think that people actually might assume this is Frieza. This is not Frieza. This is definitely Tagoma. And my theory is on the first chapter of the manga that was released about a week ago. Tagoma says something to Frieza, which specifically was, "Don't go after Saiyan," which pissed him off, causing Frieza to kill Tagoma. I think this is that scene.
I know for sure, like it almost completely mirrors it, so I'm pretty sure that was it. But you know, James originally thought it was Frieza, but taking a good look, it does look similar to Frieza, but I definitely think it's to Tagoma based on the little ring thing around the back.
Yep. And then the final photo, we have Goku on the ground. What looks to be Vegeta standing over him.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty interesting. Maybe that whole theory that, you know, Thundershot, you and I, and Black and Fist predicted a while back is going to come true, where we actually see Vegeta might actually have a much bigger role in defeating the main villain in this.
I really hope so.
Goku looks really beat up.
Yeah, I really hope that he does have it, because, again, like, Vegeta needs this. Vegeta is like the most tragic character. Like, it's like when I was talking to Chris Sabat about 3 weeks ago now. We were both talking about how tragic Vegeta's character is. Like, he had his plan destroyed, his pride destroyed, and then he couldn't even take revenge on basically the big hole in his life. So, like, I really hope that Vegeta does get his chance to do something well in this movie. The other thing I want to point out is originally when Frieza battled against Goku refused to go Super Saiyan, because he was like, I guess he underestimated Frieza's new power. He was like, I don't need to go Super Saiyan. So I feel like what happens is he fights Frieza in his base form and then gets his shit kicked in, either by Frieza's final form or his next form. What do you think about that?
I definitely think so. I mean, he could have potentially have said, you know what, maybe I should actually go to Super Saiyan, but I mean, considering the huge gap that Frieza's probably going to get, I definitely think he could probably handle Goku in his base form if he's not able to use Super Saiyan God. So that's a great prediction you made, Rhymestyle.
But that's the last picture, and that's pretty much everything. So do you have any final words you want to toss out there?
Well, guys, please check out my video too. I hope you will enjoy. You know, I said some things are a little bit different than in this video, and I'm really excited to see how this video comes out, and you know how this actual movie is, because these are just some pictures, guys, but this is nothing compared to what we're gonna see. So I think this movie is gonna be exciting, and I'm really excited for it. Rhymestyle, what about you?
Same here. I am just super hyped, and I just hope that we can see a lot sooner than later. Like, I'm hoping they do the same thing that happened with Naruto. Naruto's Japanese version was actually aired in select theaters in the U.S., which I actually forgot to go to. But I hope they do the same thing with certain theaters down here as well, because I just want to see the movie as soon as possible. But
totally, dude.
But just to end the video, everybody, at any point, if you found something interesting that we said, feel free to respond in the comment section below, or if you have your own theories as well, throw that in the comment section as well. If you're hyped for this movie, make sure you punch that like button right in the chest. And other than that, that's everything. Both Kwame and I will be keeping you guys up to date, so make sure you subscribe to both him and myself as well if you're new here. And we'll keep you guys up to date with everything as it happens. So, Kwame, why don't you take us out?
So, guys, that has been our video for today. But most importantly, over everything else, please, and I mean please, because we've been getting a lot of growth lately, so I'm saying this pretty please, remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, in every single video, to have not just a good, not a mediocre, or not a bad, but to have a great day, guys.